Buffalo over New York at halftime, 14-7. John Leipold set to kick off for Buffalo. Deep, Danny Bugs, 86-44. Doug Coder for New York. Drilled on the ground. Picked up there. Number 89 for New York. Jim Obradovic, the All-American from USC of a year ago.
So quickly, the Giants have field position. And let's see if they can continue the offensive play that they executed late in the second quarter. When first the offensive line provided a ground game, and second, isn't that ridiculous?
There's the bicentennial pinup.
Yeah, that is a collector's item, I'll tell you.
From their own 41-yard line, Ron Johnson gets the call, gets a couple of yards. Out over the left side. It'll be second down, a long 8. Craig Morton goes again at quarterback for New York, threw a touchdown pass to Ray Rhodes to shorten the Buffalo lead to 14-7. Craig Morton, number 15, an 11-year veteran. All of those years up until part of the season was gone last year with the Dallas Cowboys when he joined the Giants. Second down, a long 8. The ball just short of the 43-yard line. Johnson in motion. This is Dawkins over the left side. And Dawkins, who did most of the work in the first half, picks up 3 more. It'll be third down, a long 3. There's Craig Morton. 11 years has been around, was the #1 draft pick for the Cowboys back in the mid-60s. There's Larry Watkins.
Not playing much tonight.
Doug Coder, who started the game and has been alternating with Ron Johnson. There's the big wide receiver, the 6'5" Walker Gillette. There's Ray Rhodes, the other wide receiver, and the tight end, Bob Tucker, number 38. From their own 47, and smearing Joe Dawkins is the middle of the Buffalo Bills line. Croker, a middle linebacker, was in there, but he had much help from number 73, Earl Edwards.
Well, that was an over attempt to establish the ground game, and I don't understand the call. I was saying that Craig Morton got his offense going by establishing the ground game, but also by throwing passes on first down and by rolling out to throw, which took the Buffalo secondary, I think, by surprise.
Dave Jennings, he'll punt to Gary Heyman, 21, John Holland, number 80. Jennings puts it high in the air. The fair catch is called for at the 11 and made by Gary Heyman. Or rather at the 16, and Buffalo now gets their first crack at offense here in the second half. There's Joe Ferguson, led the Bills to a brilliant first quarter. O.J. Simpson, who was held to 66 yards. Jim Braxton, number 34, the big 240-pounder, the other setback. J.D. Hill, who scored a touchdown. Joe Ferguson, and number 81, Bob Chandler.
I love his hair.
There he is, the blocking tight end, Paul Seymour, number 87. First and 10 for Buffalo. The crowd begins to chant. They want to see some action. Braxton, following the block of Joe DeLamalure over the left side, gets a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. And a look at the offensive line, and they're the Electric Company, as they are known up here in Buffalo. They provide the power for the juice. I mentioned that all of them are out of the Big Ten, with the exception of the center, Mike Mottler, number 53. Lamalure, McKenzie at the guards, Foley, and Donnie Green at the tackles. Ball just short of the 20-yard line for Buffalo. Second down and 8. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. The undefeated Buffalo Bills against the 1-3 Giants. Ferguson letting his backs, finding J.D. Hill wide open at the 36-yard line. Hill lunges forward, gets out to the 39, a gain of 20, and Ferguson on target tonight.
I would remind our viewers that Ferguson was a 4th-round draft choice. You can pick up, as you look there at the Buffalo offensive line, Foley, McKenzie, Mottler, DeLamalure, and Donnie Green. You can pick up quarterbacks on low-round draft choices who prove out to be very effective, and I don't believe this.
He wants to get on your show,
wants to be
Howard.
Philippe Petit and be on my Saturday night show.
You know, they've strung that all across the stadium. From the 39-yard line, O.J. Simpson close to midfield, short of the first down, I believe, just short of the 49-yard line. A gain of 9 for O.J. Simpson.
Isn't that absurd?
Well, it all could be tragic unless the gentleman knows what he's doing, because the line is strung completely across the stadium. How they got it there, we don't know. And how
will they get him down, Giff? That's the more important question.
Second down, the ball just over the 48-yard line for Buffalo. O.J., the inside handoff. John Mendenhall, the right tackle for the Giants, playing a fine football game tonight, made the stop again.
And here's the front four: Dave Gallagher, 71, and I just think they're doing a good job tonight. Peter Zach, Mendenhall, as Frank has told you, is kind of small but quick, and Jack Gregory, who's the old timer on that thing. I think they're doing a good job so far. Pretty good job.
A loss of about a foot. Third down now. Ball at the 48-yard line. Simpson, and he does not get the first down. And O.J. Simpson, you won't see him stop on consecutive plays like that many times in his career.
They have really tightened up the Giants. They're playing good, solid, quality football right now. Stopping Buffalo must give them a new momentum.
Buffalo will have to punt on fourth down. Bateman set to kick. There are the deep men for the Giants. Buggs is back there. And this is Danny Buggs. Calls for it, makes the fair catch at the 20-yard line. That's the 33-yard punt.
That's the best return Buggs has had tonight.
And there is a gentleman in a bit of trouble here at Buffalo, where we'll return in just a moment. First and 10 for the New York Giants. They begin their operation just short of their own 21-yard line. Dawkins out close to the 25. And one thing that the Giants have done is establish a running game that began to take hold in the second quarter.
Remember DeLaMelore?
They've been doing well.
Frank DeLaMelore said that the Giants would fold. They're the ones who've been coming on. And in 22 carries, the Juice has gained 74 yards. That's little more than 3 yards per carry. The Giants are doing a professional job.
The ball just over the 24. Second down and 6. Ron Johnson in motion. Morton with the play-action fake. Drops the football, bobbled around, still being bobbled around, and New York comes up with it again.
That time they were lucky. That was an unprofessional job.
Ball slipped out of Craig Morton's hand.
Our friend on the tightrope is nearing his destination. You see him there.
Why doesn't
police, I'm sure, will be waiting for him. They've had a tarpaulin under him. You know, this is a bad scene.
This is
the psyche of fan behavior. I've talked about it before. It's a great thing to come to a football game and enjoy it, but these kinds of antics, really.
Third down, a long 3. Ball just over the 27. Morton looking. Dumps it off to Ron Johnson.
That time they were looking for
was there. And New York will have to punt.
Well, let's see if Buffalo can recapture its drive. The drive that so completely dominated the game for better than a quarter and a half in the first half.
Dave Jennings comes in.
Jennings to kick 40 yards.
Deep. Gary Heyman, 21. Number 80, John Holland. There they are. 21 is Heyman. Holland is 80. End over end. And a very chancy maneuver on the part of Heyman. At his own 34, he gets an additional 4 yards with a very chancy maneuver.
Well, they've got good field position, Frank, and they get their shot.
7:53 remaining in the third quarter from Buffalo. We'll return here in just a moment. He will also be with Howard on Saturday Night Live. He'll be hosting the segment live from SeaWorld in San Diego. And there will be also a replay and a visit with Evel Knievel as he makes an attempt Saturday afternoon to jump 14 buses. Okay, Joe Ferguson. Ferguson on 1st and 10, going to the air. Over the middle, incomplete to J.D. Hill, and almost picked off there.
Ferguson's unhappy about that, knows he shouldn't have thrown the way he did throw, and maybe shouldn't have thrown at all. Let's take a look at what happened to our friend on the high wire.
Poor man's Philippe
Thank
Petit.
heavens.
That
Lisa
wire, by
there.
the way, Howard, is strung across the field to hold a net that keeps the footballs on the conversion from going into the crowd. Not to save the price of a football, but to keep the fans from injuring themselves battling for it.
I hope
Hope
Gabe Kaplan teaches his students not to do that.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 38 for Buffalo. O.J. Simpson. Down the left side. Up into the, he goes over the 42.
He's going to hit 100 yards again tonight, but he's having tough yardage. I think we should take another look at this.
Henry Stuckey came up to put the pop on O.J.
Well, the juice starts slowly, looking, reading, as always. Suddenly turns it on. But Gregory is over there after him, slows him up, and then Stuckey, as you said, put him away.
3rd down and 5. O.J. now 79 yards, 23 attempts. Ball resting at the 43-yard line of Buffalo. Both teams having their problems here in the 3rd quarter. Buffalo leading 14-7. Ferguson looking for Chandler and dumps it off to the tight end, Seymour. Seymour has the 1st down right at midfield. Bobby Brooks taking Seymour out of bounds on a gain of 8.
Howard, you know I was just kidding about O.J. Simpson. I think he's a great ball player, and I've been playing around because the only thing I'm disgusted about is that O.J., even as an actor and as a speaker, he does a real good job. And I just want to prove to you that I think Lyman can speak just as good. Maybe even gooder.
Just as, I understand.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Ball inside the 50. First penetration by Buffalo in this half. Play action fake. Ferguson to the air, and it's picked off, underthrown, and number 39, the tight safety, Clyde Powers, comes up with it for New York.
Really got a ball game now, Alex.
Well, it's Monday night. What do you expect, Howard? Monday night football.
Let's look at it again. Ferguson and underthrows the ball intended for Chandler. Powers made a good defensive move. There's Chandler in the clear.
He's all alone.
But played perfectly by Clyde Powers, the 2nd-year man from Oklahoma. Good field position for New York. Their own 39-yard line. Morton gives the ball to Johnson. And Johnson out over the 45 to the 47. It's a gain of 8. 2nd down and 2.
Johnson looking better than he's looked all year, than he looked all last year. Threaded his way through then and picked up substantial yardage, as Frank described. I've got next to me a kid from Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn. Used to root for Erasmus Hall. Now he's a teacher. Name Carter. Welcome back, Gabe Kaplan.
2nd down and 2. Dawkins spinning and twisting up close to the 1st down. Gabe, I think we had trouble with your mic there just a moment. And good to see you. Enjoyed you last Saturday.
What was that remark you made?
I said I think the Giants got a real shot as a real ex-New York Giant fan.
Now you know why he's here, Howard. You thought he was your guest.
With a rubber hose.
I go back far with it. I remember a fellow named Gifford. That's how far back I go.
3rd down and 1. Big play for New York. Play action fake, and Morton going for all of it. He has Dawkins. Dawkins all the way down to the 24. And Tony Green, the free safety, who probably should have been picking up a back coming out of the backfield, took a long look at the play action. He realized he was in trouble.
He was stuck right there.
Tony Green is only about 70-75% of himself after his injury of a year ago that took him out for the remainder of the season after the 10th game. But now Craig Morton is employing his offense the way he should.
Gain of 26 by Dawkins. Dawkins again, who's having a big night for New York. Picks up 3. It'll be second down and 7. The ball just inside the 20. Now they mark it directly on the 20.
A far cry from the route that might have been expected after we had played about 22 minutes of this ball game, with Buffalo leading 14-0 and apparently having the ability to move the ball at will. Suddenly Ferguson not connecting, being intercepted. Suddenly the Giants with a ground game, and Morton using his backs effectively, coming out of the backfield.
Reverse, and it's dropped. Mishandled by Rhodes. And the battle is on for the football.
Giants got it.
Craig Morton, I believe.
Buffalo had it, gave it away. The Giants got it.
A reverse attempt was to Rhodes. He bobbled the ball. It was bounced around. Craig Morton finally came up with it. A loss of 17.
When he got the ball, he saw about 3 or 4 blue shirts around him and said, no, I don't want it.
Mike Kadish in there to upset Rhodes as he started his reverse. It is now third down and 37. The ball all the way back to Buffalo's 37-yard line. And the pass attempt complete to Rhodes, who does not get the first down.
No, but
moves the Giants into potential field goal territory.
That's the point, Giffer, and I must say Craig is throwing beautifully at this point. Just beautiful.
He's getting a pretty good rush. He's hanging right in the pocket. He's doing a good job.
But remember that before the first half ended and in the scoring drive, suddenly Craig Morton was rolling out and connecting. Had you seen Craig do that very often before, Giffer?
Well, he did a lot of it at Dallas on third down situations. They used a short roll. He's a fine athlete. He's had some knee troubles. But now George Hunt's attempt at the field goal on fourth down will be from 40 yards. And it's no good. Off to the left. Off to the left. So Buffalo will take over first and 10 at their own 20. They lead the Giants 14-7. A moment ago, George Hunt missed a 40-yard field goal attempt for New York. The Buffalo Bills take over. First and 10, just short of their own 23-yard line. Lou Saban on the sidelines has done a super turnaround job for the Buffalo Bills since returning here in '72. O.J. over the left side, and O.J. getting out to the 28-yard line. A gain of 6, hit there by John Mendenhall, Alex, who's playing a fine game.
Well, you call it. You said he was a good ball player, and he is doing a good job up front. He seems to be very tough, and a good thing about him is that he's kind of a squatty body kind of guy, and you can't knock him over.
Wasn't why I compared him to you, though. He is quick, just like you were.
He is quick. He can move laterally pretty good.
Ball marked just over the 28. Second down, a long 3. Simpson, and he's up in it again at the line of scrimmage. He maybe gained a yard. It'll be third down, 3 yards to go. Howard has joined Gabe Kaplan. Howard?
As you can see, I'm here with Mr. Carter. He's come back to school. Welcome back, Carter. You'll see him tomorrow night at 8:30. And what happens tomorrow, Gabe Kaplan?
2 kids want to get married, and we have a whole marriage ceremony in the classroom. And it's a terrific game, and I hope the Giants win it because I really still have a place in my heart for the New York Giants.
You had a marriage early on with the Giants.
Yes, I lived in New York for 19 years, and I used to go to every home game the Giants play. That's why I'm here tonight.
Glad to have you aboard. Take over, Giffer.
Third down and 3. The ball at the 29. Both backs circling out of the backfield. Ferguson in trouble, tries to flip it off, is picked off. Number 55, Brian Kelly, made the interception of a pass that should not have been thrown by Ferguson. Dave Gallagher, number 71, put the pressure on Ferguson like he has not seen all year. That's only his second interception of the year, but a very dangerous one in your own territory. First and 10, New York. They're at Buffalo's 33-yard line. Let's watch Brian Kelly now. There is Gallagher putting the pressure on. And here's Kelly playing like the halfback. And on first and 10, Dawkins trying to turn the corner on the right side. And Tony Green comes up from free safety to end the hopes of Dawkins.
It is so strange, Frank, to see this kind of a turnaround right here. We saw the first half. We thought Buffalo would run away with it. Right now, it's all totally, as far as I'm concerned, New York right now. I think you're right. New York isn't that bad, Frank. I'm with you, kid.
Thank you, Alex. We have Howard off mic, so we can say that.
We'll get him on, and we'll still tell him.
All right. 2nd down and 8. Howard hustling into the booth. The Giants hustling into the Bills' end zone. Ball just short of the 30. Mark Gillette in the end zone. And he does not hold on. Back there defending. And a good play with Frank Oliver. And there on the sidelines, Brian Kelly, the middle linebacker for the Giants, who made the interception. It'll be 3rd down now and 8 for New York.
What was that crack you made about me, Giffer, now that I'm back?
No, it was Alex saying that he had joined me.
I'll defend you. I'm joining him, Howard. New York looks pretty good to me tonight, boy.
Oh, that play by Ferguson shows you even a fine, disciplined quarterback can become an amateur in times of stress.
On 3rd down. A little screen pass bobbled by Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson did not hold on to the little screen attempt. And New York is faced with a 4th down.
I don't know how far he would have gone, Howard, but I think he was hearing little footsteps on that one. That's what I'm saying about Johnson. I've seen it the last 2 years. He's just not running with that, with that great insurance he used to have. I don't know whether he's favoring that knee or what's the problem.
Next to what he's been doing, he's been having a good night tonight. Take over, Giffer. Field goal attempt.
George Hunt missed earlier from 40 yards. This attempt from 47. Frank Morton is holding. It'll be short.
And wide.
And wide.
And so
the
two
ball
Giants
will return to the 30-yard line where Buffalo will take over.
That's going to hurt, Frank. The Giants have had 2 consecutive scoring opportunities, blown both. They've had all the momentum since the start of the second half. Ferguson, who played a cool, disciplined first half, has not been playing nearly that effectively the second half. Lost himself on that last interception. Should never have released the football. I expect that Frank and Alex told you that while I was down talking with Gabe Kaplan.
He's going to start moving that ball club, that's for sure, Hal.
Buffalo, they're being escorted by their partisan crowd here of over 80,000 fans. Braxton gets the call. And the Giants defensive unit is a team that has turned this game around. They have played superbly tonight.
They really have, and that's what we talked about at the top of the telecast. That's what Bill Arnsparger produces. I remember when they kept calling that Miami defense no name. Remember, Frank, when we got down to Miami, staying at Key Biscayne, and Bonacani was so burned up that the whole country was calling them no name?
And now they're household words, and they'll be here in Buffalo next week for the Bills. 2nd down and 9. O.J. Simpson over the left side. Simpson almost altogether on his own, but getting good blocking at the line of scrimmage. Bills up just short of the 1st down. They still might call for a measurement, but that offensive line of the Buffalo Bills continues to wear and wear and wear on a defensive unit. They are big, and they are good. Let's take a look at them. Dave Foley, he was the #1 draft pick a few years ago, but the Jets, they let him go. He's side by side with Reggie McKenzie. Mike Mottler from Colorado is at center. Joe DeLamalure, you heard from him earlier. He's big number 68. And Donnie Green. And Paul Seymour, who alternates now with Reuben Gant as the tight end. They're also the messengers to quarterback Joe Ferguson. But they are big, they're strong, they are young, and they are very proud of O.J. Simpson.
Unofficially, the Juice only needs 6 more yards to crack 100. He forced that yardage on his last carry, as Frank told you, virtually by himself.
Interesting, too. He has gone over 100 yards 28 times in his career. That's almost unbelievable. 3rd down, short yardage. Ferguson sneaks, makes the 1st down, moving out to the 41-yard line. You know, we feel like we talk too much when we continue to talk about O.J. He's just having, for him, kind of an ordinary night.
Mediocre. He's only got
when you
94
consider
yards.
all the things that he's done, the 2,003 yards in 73, 4 times. He's gone over 200 yards in a game. He's tied with Jim Brown there.
How many 100-yard games did you have in your career, Giff?
You know, I really don't know, but there weren't many. You could count them on one hand, I'm sure of that. 1st and 10 for Buffalo at the 41. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Seesaw battle here in the 3rd quarter. Buffalo out in front of New York, 14-7. We'll be back in a moment. Not this, but the preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Hi to you, Bert. 1st and 10 for Buffalo. They're at their own 41-yard line. No scoring threats at all in the 3rd quarter. Giants showing surprising defensive strength. They stop O.J. again after a pickup of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. O.J. now.
I want you to look at these
yards.
stats. Giff, look at this. NFL team rushing after 5 games with this 5th game for Buffalo still in progress. O.J. is closing in on the Jets, just 3 yards off. And that will leave just 6 teams ahead of the Juice. Teams, including the Juice's own team, so make it 5, really.
And having for O.J. a difficult time tonight. The 2nd down and 8. The ball at the 43. We're in the 4th quarter. Frank Gifford with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. And what appeared to be a misplay by the Buffalo Bills. J.D. Hill jumped off sides at the flanker position. Ferguson started to move away from the center before the ball was snapped, and you have a feeling that maybe the center, Mike Mottler, might have blown the count.
And of course, if you're talking about a defensive line, you're always going to have the feeling that anytime O.J. gets the ball, he can go for 60 yards and a touchdown. So they're very conscious of that fact right now out there. He hasn't done it yet, but he could do it anytime he has the ball. That's what makes him that great ball player that he is.
He could, but somehow I get the sense that this Giant team has a developing confidence in their defense, and I think the man acutely responsible for it is Coach Bill Arnsparger. These kids know what they're doing out there. They're synchronized. They are not what the Dolphins were when Arnsparger was down there because the personnel isn't nearly as good. But they're putting it together for what they've got and doing it very effectively.
Illegal procedure against Buffalo.
Of course,
Giants take the penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Sorry, Frank. Of course, offensively now, Ferguson knows he's going to have to start to move the ball. He hasn't moved it at all the 2nd half, and he knows if he doesn't, the Giants are going to start to come on offensively, and this could be an entirely different ball game the 2nd half, and has been so far. So Ferguson's got a little pressure on him right now. He's got to call the right plays, and he's got to go for a big play right now.
And you know, Alex, they did prove, they are a young ball club, but they proved last week against Baltimore, really a vastly improved ball club, that they can come from behind. They did it 3 times. Finally pulled it out, 38-31. Clock was the reason for the short delay there. It was running during the penalty call when the penalty discussion was being carried on with the Giants, so the clock has now been adjusted. On 2nd down and 12. Braxton over the left side, out over the 40 to the 42. He gains 4, but it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Well, I found that a cautious call, and it betokens to me that in the face of his recent failures, or in the wake of them, Ferguson is now getting scared. Not scared, that's the wrong word, but overcautious. Do you agree, Alex?
He seems to be kind of being very conservative this time, and as I said, I think he needs a big play to get these guys started again. Pump them up.
Ball marked just short of the 42. 3rd down and 9. Hill comes out to the left, tangles there with Henry Stuckey of the Giants. Out to the right is Bob Chandler, ties in with Bobby Brooks of the Giants out there on the pass situation. Ferguson, Chandler is all alone, and he makes a good move and moves inside the 35, but a flag again is down at the 35-yard line, and as Howard mentioned, in the customary area where they usually call a holding penalty.
I think Gabe Kaplan can do it better. Where is the hand? Here's Gabe Kaplan to do it better. Call that play, Gabe.
Holding against Buffalo.
That was not one of your better efforts, Gabe.
Holding in the booth against Howard Cosell.
Now do it like Muhammad Ali.
O.J. Simpson's the best. He's the best football player ever. He's almost as good as I am as a boxer. I'm going to say that, Cosell.
Third down and 19. Can America take two? At the 31-yard line. Ferguson, the draw play, Braxton, and he slips and goes down at the 30, gets up and is immediately nailed there by several Giants. Dave Gallagher, Brian Kelly were there. So Buffalo must punt.
They have to relinquish the football, and that overworked, overused, cliche-ish word momentum is at play here. The Giants have it all going for them. Earlier, they missed 2 scoring opportunities, so they gave it back to Buffalo, but Buffalo couldn't capitalize. They're a different team this half. The Bills, that is. And the Giants, too, for that matter, with an aroused defense.
Marv Bateman. Danny Buggs is deep for the Giants. Bateman with a good punt. Buggs at his own 22. Drops the ball again.
Oh, come on, Bugsy.
He has had a dreadful night.
What's wrong with that Bugsy?
Just awful. He keeps going back.
Danny Buggs. The ball is marked at the 10. Poor field position for New York. We'll be back.
You're bugging Frank, Bugsy.
From West Virginia having problems on punt returns tonight. He has lost, well, a lot of yards. And the Giants begin operations deep in their own territory. 12:29 remaining in the fourth quarter, and this is Ron Johnson. Johnson. It's a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 8.
What's that figure you got there, Alex?
Frank, your boy Bugsy's at -31 on punt return so far. Don't you teach him anything up there?
Isn't it? Well, you didn't count Eastern Parkway for Howard.
Look at Alex Karras, 112. 112, of course, that spans 14 years, folks.
I resent the figure next to my name.
On second down, Dawkins. And this time, Buffalo rises up, headed by John Scorpin. Joe Dawkins, who's been the workhorse for the New York Giants, came from Denver last year. The previous year, 1973, had been their leading rusher.
I got to be honest, I think Buffalo, after that early 14-0 lead, began to think about Miami. Thought they could do what they wanted. Instead, faced a well put together in terms of coaching Giants team.
3rd and 17. The Giants from their own 13. Or rather 3rd and 7. Martin. And Gillette holds onto the football out at the 42-yard line. Walker Gillette.
Look at this. We've
a gain of 27.
11-13 left in the ball game. Down to 11:09 now and counting down. And that was a big, big play. Now the Giants have decent field position. And they're eating up, Craig Morton is, that Buffalo secondary.
Well, he's got a lot of time to pass Howard in there.
Oh.
There's a great catch. Without a doubt, a great catch.
Oh, that's what 6'5" will do for you. Walker Gillette.
He's had an interesting career. #1 draft choice, St. Louis Cardinals, San Diego Chargers. Both got rid of him, and he's making it with the Giants.
Giants from their own 41. Dawkins again. Trying to move off to the right side. Gets a yard, maybe 2.
Well, Craig's trying to keep the Buffalo defense honest. There you're looking at the Juice, who's suddenly perturbed. Jocular, jaunty, confident, a newly developed beard. Before the game, anticipating a luscious evening, but he hasn't yet hit 100 yards.
Second down and 8. The ball just short of the 43. Martin again to Gillette. And they mark it at the 43-yard line.
First down, moving deep. Not deep yet, but moving toward deep Buffalo territory.
Now, Steve Freeman makes contact with Gillette just as he receives the football. And that's why, even though he did come down with both feet in bounds, but had he not, that contact would have made it to catch a good one, even though he didn't. Giants moving again. Earlier in the game, they went 91 yards to score their first touchdown. Gives the ball to Dawkins, and Dawkins having a good night.
Morton still trying to keep a ground game established. That's beginning to falter now. but he's calling his plays very, very well.
Oh, yeah, he's mixing pretty good right
And
now.
that Buffalo secondary, Alex, seems almost helpless at the present time.
Tony Green's having some problems. Of course, he's working with Gillette, and Gillette's given about 5 or 6 more inches on Green, so he's going to have some problems. He's keeping it high in the air, and Gillette's been able to leap up and grab him.
Jones out of there with an apparently fractured arm. A riddled Buffalo secondary, wide open for the sharp shooting of Craig Morton. What is this?
Something we certainly don't need. Craig Morton, you saw his stats a moment ago. He's getting fine protection from the Giants' offensive line. Dawkins, by the way, has had 43 yards receiving. Tack that on to his 56 yards rushing. He's having a 99-yard night thus far with 9:38 remaining in the fourth quarter. Charlie Ford now has come in left cornerback for Buffalo. He's number 45. He replaces Oliver. Morton to the air again. Bobble. And with his hands on the football, John Hicks. Flag flies.
Ineligible receiver.
Well, 70s are not supposed to carry the football.
Oh, Frank. Excuse me, Frank. Pat Toomey put a great rush on the passer that time. Without a question of doubt, he looked to the inside, came back to the outside. Let's watch Pat Toomey on this play. Look at this. Inside, outside, inside again. That's a great rush.
And there's John Hicks, the All-American lineman from Ohio State.
Watch this, Howard. There's the inside, the outside, and the inside again. There's a good rush. The tackle didn't know what to do. He just backed right up on him.
Two veterans, Pat Toomey and Earl Edwards, have improved the pass rush of Buffalo enormously. Of course, Edwards was here last year and did that. Toomey's written a new book called The Crunch, and it's an interesting tome. Volume, that means, Alex.
That play by John Hicks will be allowed to stand. The ball was tipped.
Was it?
Knocked away from Morton. I did not see the ball tipped. I saw the motion. Touched by the defense, so John Hicks put on a good play. It's 3rd down and 2. Morton has Dawkins all alone again, and a play that produced big yardage for them in the first half. And this is something like what Baltimore did to Buffalo last week, working on linebackers with backs coming out of the backfield.
Craig Morton is doing some job. Let's have a look at Tony Green and the problems he's been having. 43, Tony Green. So great a year ago. Now a much more cautious player physically. And as you saw, he was off the ball. Not challenging the receiver, not challenging the ball.
And the Giants, who started on their own 10-yard line, are now at the Buffalo Bills' 16-yard line. Ron Johnson. Big John Hicks out in front. The All-American from Ohio State as Johnson powers inside the 15 down to the 13.
Howard, it's all Giants, seems to me, Howard.
Oh, you've had an abrupt change. So have I. So has Frank.
I have.
No, Frank's a Giant. He's been with the Giants this whole game. I gotta say that the Giants are dominating the second half.
They sure are, and that Arnsparger is some kind of coach.
2nd down, a long 7. Johnson gets the call again.
Wow.
He'll go in. Ron Johnson having his best game of the season
By far.
Turns the corner, dipped in, as you saw O.J. do earlier in the game. The defense came in, broke to the outside, and the Giants are a point away from tying this game up with 8:29 remaining in the fourth quarter. 90 yards, 11 plays. They scored their other touchdown by going 91 yards in 9 plays.
Beautiful piece of quarterbacking by Craig Morton. His play selection ideal. The attempts at the run to keep the Buffalo defense honest against the run, using the backs brilliantly out of the backfield on the passes. Just fine quarterback.
George Hunt. And it's tied at 14 here in Buffalo. The surprising Giants and the Buffalo Bills. We'll be back. Let's look at Ron Johnson again. He had only gained 89 yards coming into tonight's game throughout the first 4 games. He turns the corner. He has 48 yards on the night, 9 carries, and ties up the football game. Deep is Gary Heyman, 21, 33, Vic Washington for Buffalo. Heyman has it taken away from him. That was Bo Cornell.
Bo Cornell took it away from Gary Heyman. That team is really upset. Bo Cornell runs the 100 in 100 seconds. Heyman runs it in about 10.
Buffalo now with starting to feel a little bit of pressure. They have been stymied both offensively and defensively.
A lot of pressure. The Miami Dolphins are watching this game with a great deal of interest and glee.
O.J. being held in check tonight, still only needs 2 yards for an 8,000-yard mark in his career.
I haven't walked that far.
Chandler. Ferguson, as he did last week against Baltimore, tough in the clutch. Chandler inside the 46-yard line of the Giants. First down, Buffalo. Joe Ferguson. He was not expected to become the quarterback that he has. Really came into his own last week with a lot of pressure. Brought the Bills back 3 times against Baltimore with his best effort of his young professional career.
He's received 3 for 49 yards thus far in the contest. Chandler has.
Simpson. And O.J. somehow or other got away from Jack Gregory. Got inside the 40 to the 49-yard line.
I don't know how he got away, Giffer, but he's over the 8,000-yard mark now in his career. And he's over the 100-yard mark for the night. Unofficially, we make it 28 rushes for 101 yards. He's had tough yardage tonight, Giff, and yet he's been able to do it.
They have been tough. He picks up 7. His second down and 3. The ball at the 39. Approaching 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. It's tied at 14. At one point, Buffalo led it 14-0. Simpson around the right side and gets close to the first down.
I think just shy of it, Giffer.
Mendenhall was over there again for New York. They will measure, and the crowd of Buffalo fans do not like the fact that they are going to have to measure, but O.J. appeared to be just short of the first.
I've got to be honest, there are at least 2 Buffalo fans who haven't impressed me tonight. First, the guy who tried to become a tightrope walker, and second, the guy who went out on the field. So I'm not impressed by their variations from boos to cheers as the circumstances dictate. How do you feel about it, Giffer? Put it on the table, Frank.
What do you want me to say? The poor guy was just crawling across a wire. I'm just glad he got off there. He looked like he was in bad shape. You saw how much is needed for the first down. The other tight end, Reuben Gant, comes in. First-round draft pick and a good blocker for Buffalo. First-round pick a year ago. Inches short of the first down. Braxton, and he almost breaks the entire thing off. He moves inside the 30, down to the inside the 28. Stuckey made the stop. First down, Buffalo.
This is exactly what Buffalo wants to do. By the way, the Juice executed a very good block in front of Braxton on that. The Juice can do it all. We're not puffing him up. He doesn't need flattery from this quarter. But Buffalo wants to maintain ball control. The clock now down to 6:08 and moving down steadily. They want to get this score with as little time left to the Giants as possible. Giffer?
First and 10, Buffalo. The Giants' 28-yard line. Simpson. And there is the 9-3 speed. Simply outrunning the defenders. Carl Lockhart made the stop after O.J. picked up 9 yards. It'll be second down and 1. The ball at the 19-yard line.
In Karras's unending and unstinting praise for older players, I only wish he could have had the opportunity to have chased Simpson. I would like to have witnessed the scene.
Time remaining in the fourth quarter, 5:50. The 2 tight ends now in the game for Buffalo. Braxton with a big hole and the big fullback down to the 10-yard line. Gain of 8 for Braxton. Finally stopped by Brad Van Pelt. Lou Saban looking on. Been a head coach for 15 years. With Buffalo previous to returning in 72. Had a stint down in Maryland. Went out to Denver. and came back to Buffalo in 1972, and he said, we're going to let O.J. run. And O.J. has been setting records ever since. And Buffalo has been moving up in the standings. Made the playoffs last year. Undefeated this year. O.J. around the right side. Reggie McKenzie out front. O.J. getting close to the 5-yard line. They'll mark it at the 6.
Boy, I'll tell you, that Broxton laid a block in there. I mean, he's 240 pounds, and he showed it 240 that time. He put the linebacker right down.
All right, we're under the 5-minute mark now, folks. We're at 4:52 and counting down. There's Bill Arnsparger. He can feel proud of the job he's done for tonight's game. His team came to Buffalo prepared.
2nd down and 6. Buffalo could make a first down if they get inside the 1. Simpson. And O.J. ran into traffic, reversed it, and picked up 3 yards in the process. It'll be 3rd down, a long 2. Look at this again, and this is really characterizes his movements as his change of direction. Stuckey finally caught him from behind, or he might have got in. Player down on the field. A Giant player. Painter Johnny Ziegel. Out on the field looking after the injured Giant. And I believe it might be Clyde Powers. It is Clyde Powers. He's being assisted to his feet. 4:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. We'll be back. Clyde Powers appears to be all right. He's on the sidelines, standing right behind head coach Bill Arnsparger. May have pinched a nerve in his neck from the gymnastics he was going through a moment ago. On the field, Buffalo. 3rd down, a long 2. Ball inside the 3-yard line of the Giants. Clock moving once again. 3:50 remaining in the 4th quarter. Broxton, he'll be very close to a first down. I don't believe, however, he got there. So now a decision for Lou Saban.
A big
tied at 14. Do we go with the field goal? Do we go with the run? He says go. Now he sends a field goal.
Field goal unit, Gipper.
And absolutely the right decision.
It is. Put the points on the board. The oldest maxim in the world. But there'll be plenty of time for the Giants to come back with a riddled Buffalo secondary, and Craig Morton working them beautifully. And you can bet the Dolphins are looking at this game so intently, and even now planning what they're going to do to that Buffalo secondary.
Leipold, 19-yard field goal attempt. And he has missed from 19 yards. Leipold misses from 19.
Oh, are they in trouble?
3:16 remaining in the 4th quarter.
I would have run the ball, Frank, down there. The position on the field, it's not like I'm second-guessing you guys. But
I know, you could leave them there, but when you're tied at 14, don't you think, Alex, you put the points on the board?
Of course.
I don't know. I would be hesitant to do
3:16 to go. Put up. This is exactly why Alex is announcing and not coaching.
Buffalo missing from 19 yards out on a field goal. The Giants take over on their own 20. This is Dawkins, the workhorse for the Giants all night. Gets 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Now, Craig doesn't have to overpressure himself. He's at 3:05 left and counting down. There's the 2-minute warning. There are timeouts. All he has to do is reach decent field goal position. George Hunt has been a surprising acquisition by the Giants. He is a good kicker, and he might hit where Leipold failed. And he can hit from reasonably far out, too.
2nd down, the ball's at the 22-yard line of the Giants. Morton on the night, 13 of 18, 179 yards. Has had 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception. Craig Morton played behind the Dandaroo down at Dallas. Then Roger Staubach came in. He played behind him. Said, I want to start somewhere. Signed with the WFL. Didn't sign with the Giants last year. The WFL contract was ruled invalid. He's now a Giant. Johnson around the left side.
It's hard for Johnson to run outside. Even when he was in his prime, he couldn't. That was the interesting part of his touchdown run. Buffalo was bunched inside, and Ron read that situation well, moved outside, and merely danced in for his touchdown. But he really no longer has the speed to run outside, and even when in his prime, had difficulty running outside.
It'll be third down. Third down and 6. The ball just short of the 25-yard line. We're watching Bo Cornell being administered to on the sidelines. Whipping his left leg.
I'll tell you, we face an overtime situation at this moment, but we're still a far piece away from it, Frank. And when you look at the developments in the National Football League from week to week, New Orleans, for instance, besting Green Bay in the final second, and then Green Bay coming on to defeat previously undefeated Dallas yesterday. You just can't figure, and so we do revert to the old cliche on any given day or night. And here is Buffalo, unbeaten coming into this game. 14-0 was their quick lead. Total domination of the Giants. And now a chance to take the lead just seconds ago. Leipold's field goal miss was his first of the year after 3 successes. Crazy things happening. A 19-yard effort. Didn't figure to miss it. There is a hopeful but still worried Bill Arnsparger pacing the sidelines, and here is the gift.
Third down and 6. 2:32 remaining in the fourth quarter. Morton to the air. Fires complete, and a flag goes down. Ray Rhodes fumbled the football. A flag is down back at the 30-yard line. It was picked up by Charlie Ford. Now another flag goes down. Flag is down back where Craig Morton released the ball. And we will attempt to untangle all the laundry. Buffalo Bills waving their hands in the air.
As we said, you can't predict what's going to happen in this league.
Holding New York. Holding against New York. Charlie Ford made the recovery.
Apparently the holding call was against Tom Mullen. The completion accepted by Buffalo because of the subsequent fumble. Gifford take over. Buffalo's ball. They've got field position again.
The completion was there for 22 yards. Rhodes fumbled. Ford picked it up. The Giants were holding. Buffalo declines. First and 10 Buffalo inside the Giants 34. 2:19. O.J. Simpson to the 35-yard line. A gain of 2. Pat Hughes hit O.J. there.
We're approaching the 2-minute warning. The Juice tried to wriggle and eel and snake to no avail. He's really had to work for his yardage tonight. There's the 2-minute warning.
Second down and 8. We'll be back. Unexpected happening here in Buffalo, and next week we'll be in Chicago on Monday night, and usually the unexpected happens on Monday night. This is Chuck Foreman of the Minnesota Vikings. He can do it all. A great receiver, a tremendous runner in the manner and style of Gale Sayers. He, of course, the spark plug for the Minnesota Vikings, along with Fran Tarkenton. They'll play the Bears, and we'll be there next Monday.
And here we go.
Second down and 8. The ball at the 35-yard line of the Giants. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Is tied at 14. Simpson. And Simpson down to the 32, and he's having a hard time breaking off the long one.
That's right.
The Giants giving him the 2, the 3, occasionally the 4. 34 carries on the night, 126 yards.
Jeff, I'd like to say something. I've been raving about Arnsparger for the whole of the second half. There's a guy sitting just a couple of booths away from me who happens to be one of my best friends in life. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He wore number 81 for the Giants. Andy Robustelli, Director of Operations for the Giants. He hired Arnsparger. He turned the team over to him. So give him credit.
Third down and 5. The ball just short of the 32 of the Giants. Ferguson going to the air. And good defensive play by Clyde Powers, who went out of the ball game defending against Bob Chandler. and we are going to see Leipold again for Buffalo.
That was a very big play, Frank, and had they gotten that first down or a little closer, I think Leipold would have been in the ball game, but I don't think he can kick it from that far distance.
Nope, 50 yards. That's what it'll be, maybe a little longer. 52. Yet Jim Turner did that for Denver yesterday, as the viewers saw at halftime, to win for Denver 16-15 over Cleveland. It's possible. It's not likely. It'll be 50 yards on the button.
Earlier, he missed from 19. His first miss of the season, by the way. This one was blocked. Blocked. And it trickles into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. The Giants will have 1 minute. And then we will be moving into overtime.
And the Giants have field position. If they can quickly get to field goal position, George Hunt can do it. He's got a better long range, I think, with his leg than Leipold has with his. And I was talking about Robustelli. I wanted to make the point that nobody understands defense better than Andy Robustelli. That's why he turned to Arnsparger when he hired a head coach. He had a number of choices, one of whom was a man I think will be a head coach, and a very great one day, Monty Clark, an assistant of Don Shula's with the Miami Dolphins. Arnsparger had been an assistant there too. Robustelli took Arnsparger. Gift
on 1st and 10. Ron Johnson. Johnson down the sideline. He's at midfield where he steps out of bounds, and the clock indicates 56 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Giants have 3 timeouts remaining. And Ron Johnson has emerged tonight.
And they virtually have field goal position, and that time he went outside again.
68 yards for Johnson on 10 carries. Back in 70, he went over 1,000 yards. In 72, nearly 1,200 yards. Then the knee surgery, the thigh surgery, and he has been not the same player since. Martin. Complete to Rhodes. Rhodes inside the 30 at the 28. Tackled by Charlie Ford. New York first down.
They've got the field position they needed, and Morton did it so quickly, it's unbelievable. Buffalo seemingly defenseless at this time.
Great catch by Rhodes, but Craig Morton is having a terrific night himself. He's 15 of 20, 221 yards.
And you're looking at George Hunt getting ready, Giffer.
And you can feel the tension here in Buffalo, where we'll return in just a moment. Here's Ray Rhodes out of Tulsa. He played with the Cowboys' Drew Pearson down there. Makes a super catch of a Craig Morton pass thrown in a crowd. Now let's watch Pat Toomey.
He was rushed, too. He came good side in rush by Toomey, and he stayed right in that pocket. And
That's your old teammate.
Yeah.
Pat Toomey, who came to Buffalo this year from Dallas. And Craig Morton with 48 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Giants with 2 timeouts remaining have moved the Giants to the 27-yard line of Buffalo. Good call, the draw play. Fighting for extra yardage, Ron Johnson down to the 20, hit there by John Scorpion.
That's the way to call a football game, moving ever closer to make the kick easier and easier for George Hunt. Knowing that they can control that clock with the timeout still remaining. We're at 27 and counting down in seconds, that is.
Second down, this one will be put in the air either for the completion or to kill the clock. Dawkins. Incomplete, stops the clock with 16 seconds remaining. At one point, the Buffalo Bills led 14-0. The Giants took command in the second quarter. They have not given it up, although it's been seesaw. You cannot say the Bills quit. The Giants just continued to play their game. They played it well, superbly on defense. And we are now at 14 apiece. The Giants have 2 timeouts remaining. They have time for certainly 1 play, possibly 2 plays. But right now they must also be concerned about a first down. It's 3rd down and 3. Johnson did not get the first down. He's at the 19-yard line. Morton calls timeout. Young football team, the New York Giants. 21 of them are playing either in their first year or their second year. Only 12 remain from Alex Webster's season of 1973.
Okay, now, Howard, ask me if I would kick.
9 seconds left. Another timeout remaining. Would you kick out?
Yeah, I'd kick, Howard.
You would? I would. I'd throw a pass and try to get closer.
A lot of pressure for George Hunt. George Hunt did not play football in 1974. He had previous years with Baltimore. He kicked 16 field goals there in 1973. Took a year off. Arnsparger was looking for somebody to replace Pete Gogolak, whom he felt had lost it. He went down and talked George Hunt into coming out of retirement, and with 9 seconds remaining, George Hunt can win a football game with a 37-yard field goal. And he has put the Giants up front 17-14. And Craig Morton must be given credit. He moved the team 49 yards in 5 plays. And George Hunt hit from 37 yards out. The Giants over the Bills, 17-14. There'll be time for the kickoff.
Oh, those field goal kickers, Frank. I don't know, Howard. I guess it's part of the game, but it's just, to me, it's just not, as far as I'm concerned, not football.
All I can tell you, Alex, is the man had a better leg for distance than Leipold has, and Leipold is an accurate kicker. I was astonished that Leipold, as you looked at the replay there, missed his from 19 yards out.
Bill Arnsparger, absolutely delighted. The 1-3 Giants, who narrowly lost to the Dallas Cowboys last week, 13-7, have for all intent and purposes locked up this football game. Arnsparger, showing a little emotion on the kick, immediately got a hold of Hunt and told him where to kick the football, obviously indicating that he did not want 1 or 2 of the deep men, which are either Heyman or Vic Washington, to receive
Frank,
the ball.
in a situation like this, wouldn't you put O.J. back there when you've got seconds left? You need a kick run for a touchdown. Why would you go with Heyman and Washington?
I honestly don't think so, because O.J. has not been running back kickoffs, and is something that is far different. Well, Howard, you need a little practice.
No.
On the ground. Taken there by Schnarr, or rather Vic Washington. Vic Washington, clock ticks away. O.J. Simpson finishes the night with 126 yards. The Giants win it 17-14. A very delighted head coach Bill Arnsparger.
Well, I want to tell you,
now 2-5.
This was some football game, like so many that we've had of the Monday night variety through the now continuing 6-year history of the series. It began as an apparent rout. Heavily favored Buffalo, unbeaten going into this contest, with questions about their defense, but completely dominating with a ball control offense, moved swiftly to a 14-0 lead. The Giants seemed helpless. Suddenly, the Giants began to come alive in the latter stages of the second quarter. Scored a touchdown. Brilliant offensive drive engineered by Craig Morton, who had an exceptional evening. Started to develop his ground game. Suddenly the smallish Giant offensive line was moving out. The big defensive line of Buffalo. Toomey and Edwards, for instance, noted for their pass rushing propensities, not necessarily that great against the run. Suddenly, Ron Johnson began to gain yardage, even on 2 occasions, running to the outside. And then in the second half, the Giants took command all the way, had the momentum. The missed field goal by Buffalo from 19 yards out by Leipold gave the Giants a chance to get field position. And let's move it over to you, Frank.
And in summation, the New York Giants defeated the Buffalo Bills 17-14. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, the airline of the pros. This year, 16 of the 26 NFL teams will enjoy United Friendship Charter service. The final score, once again, the New York Giants defeating the Buffalo Bills for the first time this season, 17-14. Almost a stunned crowd here at Buffalo. They're filing out. They are not used to losing, and indeed, they will not lose many times. They are a great football team, and they are building. They're young. They play Miami next week. They had a 9-5 season last year. They had a 9-5 season in '73, the great year for O.J. with 2,003 yards. They have young offensive linemen, Alex, that I feel will continue to provide those big holes for O.J. as he goes after record after record.
Well, of course, Frank, the marvelous thing about it was that the Giants didn't quit, and their defensive football team only held the Bills to 2 touchdowns, and that's unusual. You usually see the Bills with 3 or 4 touchdowns. They know they have some problems on their defense, and New York took advantage of it, Frank, and that's the game.
Of course, the New York Giants, we mentioned, are a young building team. The Giants, of course, turned things around a little bit tonight, but they have a long way to go. They have young players, and what really impressed me after watching them against Dallas last week is they put two of them back-to-back.
Well, it was a total shock as far as I was concerned, because I thought Buffalo would run away from it. But I've been in ball games like that before, where a team gets 2 or 3 touchdowns in front of you, and all of a sudden they just lose concentration, and it gets to be where they're just lulled into sleeping. And sure enough, when the momentum starts to go, there it goes. There's your game.
I think it's more than that, fellas. I think it relates to the whole league. The league is diluted. There are 26 teams, and there are many more quality players than there used to be, Alex, but they have to be spread over 26 teams. So there is a very fine line of demarcation between the team that has a plethora of quality players and the team that has only a handful. And so you can have the Giants upsetting the Buffalo Bills as they did tonight, and Green Bay upsetting Dallas as the Pack did yesterday.
And I suppose Houston upsetting Washington, and believe me, this has really tightened up the Eastern Division of the AFC. Miami comes here next week. That should be a beauty. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football continues next Monday night when the Minnesota Vikings meet the Chicago Bears at 9 Eastern Time. The executive producer of NFL Monday Night Football is Roone Arledge. Coverage of tonight's game was produced by Don Ohlmeyer and directed by Chet Forte. Technical director Bill Morris, our associate director Dick Buffington. This Saturday, ABC Sports will bring you NCAA college football as the Trojans of USC take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in a classic rivalry. Then following NCAA college football will be ABC's Wide World of Sports, Evel Knievel and the Harlem Globetrotters. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Once again, the final score from Rich Stadium in Buffalo, New York. The New York Giants 17, the Buffalo Bills 14. This is Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras saying so long from Rich Stadium in Buffalo, New York, where the New York Giants have shocked the Buffalo Bills. The proceeding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
What are the advantages and the hazards of vigorous sports for men and women of middle age? ABC News examines the impact on the health of increasing numbers of Americans over 35 who are engaging in active sports. Watch the ABC News Close-Up on the Weekend Athletes, Friday at 10, 9 Central on ABC.